everyone. Today we are going to prepare our habitat for our baby chicks, and we call that habitat a brooder box. This will be their second home after their first home, which is the incubator. I have this set up in a back room of my house, so there's a little bit of mess around here because I also use it as my home office, but it's a great place to put the brooder box because I have a little bit more space back here. So the first thing you're going to need is a large container. I found this cool little corral thing on Amazon, and I like it because it collapses easy for storage when I'm not hatching chicks. But you need some kind of a large container to house your baby chicks. And so if you didn't have a corral like this, you don't want to buy that, and you were doing this at home, you could also use a large cardboard box, like a big Amazon box, or a large plastic storage bin. You just want to make sure it's something with tall sides, at least a foot tall on the sides. And that's because even though baby chicks don't fly, they do start hopping around as they get bigger and older, and they will try to get out of the container. So you want to make sure it's got something with tall sides. Then I took some unused garbage bags and I put those down under my corral. I do that because that way if they spill their water or make a mess, then that protects my floors. If you were using a cardboard box, I would do the same thing to keep the cardboard paper from getting wet. If you're using a plastic storage bin, then you may not need to line it with garbage bags. But that's what I did. The next thing you need is some bedding. And what I got are these pine wood shavings. I found these at Tractor Supply. And you could also use shredded paper or just some old newspaper and paper towels. Now, I did that the last couple times. I just used newspaper and then paper towels on top of it. The problem is your baby chicks get pretty messy when they poop, and they do that a lot. And so if you have a flat surface like paper towels, it's something you're going to have to be changing an awful lot. I was having to change the paper towels a couple times a day. With the wood shavings, that kind of protects everything. The poop falls to the bottom, and so I don't have to clean it as often. So I'm going to be using these pine shavings. I will put those all around the bottom of this container. All right. Now we need to think about the temperature and the climate around the baby chicks, as well as food and water. So if you have access to a heat lamp like this one, then use that. The baby chicks have been growing in about 100 degrees, and my home is not going to be nearly that hot. So after the baby chick hatches, we will leave it in the incubator for a couple hours, giving them time to dry out and get nice and fluffy. Then we will move them to this brooder box, but we want to make sure that the temperature still stays warm for them. We will keep them in this brooder box for about 4 weeks until it gets warmer outside and they're more acclimated, more used to the cooler temperatures, so they don't need 100-degree temperatures after they get to be about a month old. I'm going to hang this heat lamp onto this little hook over here, and that allows me to adjust the height of the heat lamp based on how my baby chicks are reacting, whether they feel like it's too hot or too cold inside their brooder box. If the baby chicks are all huddled together and laying on top of each other right under the heat lamp, then I know it's too cold inside the brooder box, and I'm going to lower that pole and lower the heat lamp so it's a little bit closer and it gets warmer for them. But if they're laying flat, far apart from each other, got their wings out by their side, kind of trying to stay away from the heat lamp, then I know it's too hot, and I'll adjust that pole up and get the heat lamp a little bit higher so it's not quite as hot inside the brooder box. Ideally, what we want to see is the chicks moving around the brooder. They're eating, they're drinking, they're just comfortable going about their lives. They might lie near each other when they're sleeping and resting, and that's okay, but we don't want them on top of each other. We're going to try to keep the temperature around 95 degrees for that first week, and I will be getting a thermometer that I can kind of tape to the side to just make sure that we're keeping the temperature right for them and that they are comfortable. All right, so now let's talk about eating and drinking. The baby chick embryos have fully absorbed the yolk into their bellies as of today, which is day 20. And so they probably won't be hungry for the first 24 hours or so after they hatch. But I want to get everything ready for them so that when they're ready to eat and drink, it's there for them. So we are using this chick starter grower that you can get at a feed store, Tractor Supply, or wherever. And that's what we're going to be using to feed them. It looks like this. It's these little crumbles that are made of corn and soybeans. And it's almost like a little cereal for the chicks. It's nice and small so they can eat it in their small beaks. And I will put that into this little container right here. You can see there's some in there already. And we'll just fill up this jug with the starter grower feed, and then the chicks can get it out of the little holes in the bottom. Then we also want to make sure we have water for them, so I have another dispenser that I'll fill this little jug with water, and it'll come out the bottom here and fill up that little base at the bottom. Now, just like for humans, water is our most important nutrient. It's also the most important nutrient for our baby chicks. So we want to make sure that they always have plenty of water available. I will probably even set that on top of some kind of maybe flat stone, maybe a brick or something inside there, because with those wood shavings, you'll notice the baby chicks like to scratch around, and if I don't set the water up a little bit, it's going to be constantly full of wood shavings in that little base. So that is our brooder box. I'll get it all put together here in a few minutes, and I'll take a picture and attach it at the end of this video with it all set up. And it will be ready to go when our baby chicks start hatching tomorrow. And this will be their home for the next couple weeks as they grow bigger and get used to a little bit not as warm of temperatures before we move them outside to the farm, which we'll do in about a month. All right, we're all ready. We're getting all ready for tomorrow, hatch day. As you can see, I've got the brooder box all set up and it's ready for baby chicks. I will plug in the heat lamp on Wednesday, a little bit before I actually move a baby chick into the brooder. And I've got the food and the water set up. I put the water on a little block of wood to hopefully keep some of the shavings out of it. So we are all set up and ready, and just need some baby chicks now to go inside our brooder, which will happen this Wednesday.